Hi, Kerry here again. As I told you in the past, I'm a retired financial advisor, a CFP, CHFC, and CLU, and I got out of that business when I retired in 2005. And then for reasons I've explained before, I got in real estate in, I guess it was about 2015. And I've made some friends in there. Sam is probably my best friend. He's 56 years old. And he invited me out to lunch the other day. And after some exchange, he got down to what he was really interested in. He says, I'm 56 and we live in a modest home and my wife works. And Sam's quite successful in real estate. And he said, we've been thinking about we'd like to move to a nicer neighborhood where some friends are. We'll move out of a $300,000 home and we'll go to a $600,000 home. And he says, but it's a risk I don't want to take if it's a risk, and I thought maybe I could ask you for some help. He says, I've gone to some financial advisors, and they've said, yeah, they could help me, and they would need to do a financial plan, and they explained to me what that was, and they said it would cost me, I think he said about $750. Back when I was in it, we were charging $600. I guess I had expected it would be more like $1,000. But anyway, he said, "Is that a good idea?" He said, "I just didn't know." And I said, "Well, it's a good idea, but for what you're trying to decide, I think I've got an Excel spreadsheet that I use to kind of track my retirement income and my lifestyle. I think I could probably plug the numbers into it and come back and give you a general representation. It won't be exact, but it'll give you some sort of an idea of to be able to project where you are now and what your assets are and how they're going to grow. We'll put some conservative numbers on it and basically see where you're going to be when you turn 65 and then where you're going to be when you turn 72, that you got to take your required minimum distributions. And we can do it based on, first of all, on your current home situation, and then the what if you go ahead and either buy a $750,000 home or you take a mortgage out. And we can do that calculation. He said, "You do that for me?" I said, "Sure, won't take all that much time." And so I basically sat down and got a piece of paper and said, "This is the information I need. And if you're comfortable disclosing it to me about your income, about any pensions, about what your wife makes and what you've got in qualified accounts." He said, "What are qualified?" I said, "That's 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, and then non-qualified accounts. That's all your other investments and any cash you got. And if you'll share that with me, and a few other things, I can probably give you an idea." And I got to thinking, I'll bet there's a lot of people who are going through this same thing. Do I need to pay $1,000 for a financial plan, or is there an easier route around it? So what I want to do is I want to take you to my computer over there in my office and show you what I did for Sam. And then what I want to do is make a copy of the spreadsheet available to you. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just basically send me your name and your email address, and I'll then have that automatically down so that you can download it and play with it and work with it. Now, what I'm going to do beyond that is I'm going to give it to Kevin, who is one of my tribe members over on the investment side, and he helps me with spreadsheets and documents and things of that nature. And we're going to see if we can't make this even more interactive so that all it is a plug and play for you. So because we got some variables here. He's 56 years old. You might be 58. So the numbers kind of switch around. So I'm going to work on that. But let me take you to my office and let me show you that. This is a spreadsheet I put together for Sam and Judy. As I said, Sam is a real estate agent. He's only 56 years old. And he asked me, am I okay? And as I said, this isn't perfect, but it gives you some a look at how I constructed it. And then I want to make this spreadsheet available to you, and I'll tell you how I can get it to you in just a second, so that you can kind of work with it, and then I'll continue to work with it. And I'm hiring somebody to make it a little bit more interactive. But I thought it was important to get this to you, and maybe it could help you some. And let's just kind of walk through it. Sam and Judy are both 56 years old. We're estimating their Social Security payments at 28 and 15. And I went ahead and put it in that they take their Social Security at 65. I probably will do a recalculation and say they wait until 72. They're both pretty healthy, so I think it would be more than likely that we should wait till 70. But I wanted to go through this anyway. As you can see, they have about $900,000 in their qualified accounts. They have about $200,000 in a brokerage account, and they have an annual pension of $62. That's made up of two pensions. Sam is a retired policeman, and he retired from the police force, and then he came and sold real estate, and that's where I met him. And I'm not real sure what Judy does, but she has a job, and he tells me that between the two of them, they'll have a pension of about $62,000 when they turn 65. So as you can see, all those numbers then drop over here. Oh, also between Sam and Judy, they're currently making about $136,000. Sam's a good real estate agent, and Judy has a nice income too. And I've basically put a inflation rate on their income at 5%, and you can see it grows up until they're 65. Or 64, and then they retire. So that gives them the annual income. I've calculated taxable income, basically taking in, I had suggested that Sam create an LLC, and so he has done that, and he expenses out all of his real estate expenses, and then he also has his normal deductions, and so we've got a rough estimate on what is taxable income. He says that it takes them about $80,000 a year to live now, and so we come across and we're estimating his taxes. I'm not sure they're accurate, but it gives us a basis to work on. And then we have excess, and what I've basically done is used that excess to basically contribute to their qualified plan or qualified plans, and then just anticipate it. He's not an aggressive investor, that his non-qualified investments and his qualified investments would grow at a rate of about 5%. And so that then comes through, and I total his investments. They have a house, which is about, no mortgage on it, it's about $300,000. So what I'm doing there is calculating their net worth. Then when they turn 72, I'm using this factor over here to calculate their RMD, their required minimum distribution. And then, as you see, their pension kicks in. And what I've done is just, and again, I'm not saying these numbers are totally accurate, but what it does is, he asked me at lunch, he said, well, we're living in a $300,000 house. We feel we could live a lot better. We could move to another neighborhood where a lot of our friends, and it would probably be a $700,000 home. And what I wanted to do is give him some guidance, some comfort zone as to, yeah, Sam, under this, without going to a $300,000 home, you're going to accumulate somewhere around $12 million, and that's what you're going to leave to your kids. So if at this point you want to change that and take on a possibly a mortgage increase, all we have to do is anticipate what that expense is, and we can do this calculation. Okay, so this is what I did for Sam and Judy, and what I then want to do is make this available to you. I'm going to give you an URL here in the description or in the video, but you don't need to worry if you can't copy it down that quick. Just go into the description. Just click that see more under the video, and under the description you're going to see a URL that will give you a link to this. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to keep refining this so that in fact it gets more interactive and it becomes easier for you to just plug and play. But I'm still working on that, and I'm putting, in fact, I'm going to put Kevin to work on it. He's very good with spreadsheets and making them interact and things of that nature. So I'm going to make that available to you. So let's talk a little bit more about maybe your retirement situation and how something like this might be able to help you. Okay, my objective here is to help you make this the best part of your life. And if you've got financial questions hanging over you, it doesn't make it the best part of your life. It also will help it make it easier if you can plug and play this spreadsheet to say, do I need to get a part-time job? Or in fact, if you're younger, what is my situation if rather than 56, I'm 45? And it just, I think it's so much more comforting if you got a plan. So what I'm going to do is, this is the URL that you need to get. If you can't, if it's not good to copy that down, you can stop the video and copy it down, or I'm going to put it right under the description. Down below the video, there's a thing that I think it says see more. And if you click there, you'll get the full description, and right below it, I'll put that URL. Now again, to explain what's going to happen is you'll go there, you'll give me your name and your address, and then you'll give me, or then it will say, thank you for signing up, and download it, and I'll email it to you. Now at the same time, you're going to be on my mailing list, so if in fact when I get it more interactive and improve upon it, I'll be able to mail you an updated copy. And the other thing I want to do is have your email address, so if there's something else that I want to share with you, it's easy for me to do it, and it's also easy if I think there's a video I really think you need to see, I can share it with you. So that's where I want to go with this. Again, my objective is I've had a fascinating career. I've learned a lot that I think I can help you make this the best half of your life, and that's what I'd like to do. I'd really like to create a community of retirees who work together. It's just like Sue, and I almost gave you her last name, called me and said, Kerry, about your Medicare situation, you need to look at that. I wouldn't have thought to do that if Sue hadn't called me. It's basically that I don't pay anything for my Medicare because I'm healthy. But what if something happens to me and I don't have that coverage? Can they deny me? And what I think I learned is, yeah, they can. So maybe I need to go ahead and belly up and pay for the protection, anticipating some sort of problem. And I wouldn't have thought of that except Sue called me and told me. So that's what I want to do. I want to create this community where we all kind of look out for each other. All right, I'll talk to you again soon.